everyone. We've got a brand new episode of The Witching Hour for you. We're going to do the roll call again. I'm Perri. That's Haleigh. The more important person in the room right now, though, is Derek Mears.
Hello.
No, we are equally important. We are equally important.
Oh, what a
lovely start.
That's a nice way to put it, but you've worked on some really cool stuff over the years. Oh, where to even begin? I feel like the only sensible place to begin right now is from the beginning, because I'm curious, just because you've carved out such a specific path for yourself, was it always like, I want to grow up and be in Hollywood, or did you ever say, I want to grow up and, I don't know, like be like a doctor or a firefighter or something like that?
No, honestly, like, I remember when I was younger, I was so into Dungeons and Dragons, and it wasn't cool to be into horror and comic books, you know, at the time. And I also grew up a different kid because I have a disorder called alopecia, and my hair would fall out when I was younger. And I grew up in Bakersfield, California, and at the time, it wasn't cool to be white and bald. And if you were, you either were like a supremacist or like, or, you know, had a cancer victim. I'm not either. No, I respect. But no, I remember at one point, like, I got into acting because of role playing, because I remember having a conversation with my mom. She's like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I go, "Well, I don't need to be rich or famous." And I go, "I just want to create with my friends and just play with my friends." And so this is the best way to do it. And so that's how it kind of stemmed from Dungeons and Dragons into acting. And now I'm just, every time something comes around, I get to be where and be who to play where. Yeah, it's still, it doesn't seem real. I feel like I'm going through like my toy chest as a child and grabbing different iconic characters. I'm going to try this one now. Okay, I'm going to try this. And if it ends today, I'm like so beyond thankful. So it's crazy. It's real crazy.
That's the coolest thing about like what you specifically do too, is it feels like, I mean, every single actor needs to shed their persona to basically lose themselves in a new role.
Oh, yeah.
But like with all like the prosthetics and stuff, like you could do it to an extent that not many can.
It's really cool because rather than as an actor, I'm an all-around actor. But my reps at one point, I remember having a conversation like you're a professional actor. Like, why do you do the makeup stuff? And I go, because I'm a professional nerd. And I go, this is fun. I go, it's not about an ego for me, and it's about creating and telling stories. And I go, don't remember me, remember the characters. The biggest compliment I get on any show is when someone goes, "Oh my God, I didn't know that was you." I'm like, yes, fantastic. That makes me so happy. So, yeah, it's weird, like bouncing between my normal face and doing monsters from time to time. And I just, whatever kind of comes my way, whatever kind of theatrical board game, like I'll roll the dice and play. So I'm lucky, very lucky.
Well, I mean, that's great, too, because your physicality, you're very tall, you're very large. It suits a lot of monsters and creature things, so it's good that you're open and happy about it.
Yeah, at one point when I moved to L.A., I remember my first big Hollywood job was working at Universal Studios doing the Wild, Wild, Wild West stunt show, where they would take actors, which I was at the time. I moved to do acting and comedy, and they would cross-train them to do stunts, and they took stunt people and cross-trained them to act. And a lot of I would go out with some of the stunt guys and go, "Hey, we're going to learn air ram, or we work on certain fight scenes or falls. Do you want to come?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure," because I found out if I worked out, I go, wait, I could be like the big bad guy in TV and film. I go, oh my God, that's the best part. Like, so much fun. And it just started taking off, and I started making a name doing both. And it got to the point about 10 years ago, I had to stop doing the stunt side because a lot of Hollywood can't believe you have two skill sets. Though I still have the skill set on things, and I'll do things secretly from time to time that I won't get credited for. But it's a weird journey because they see you as one thing. You go, oh, you're a big guy with a mask. Go, oh, I've actually left producer sessions where I go, we need a big guy with a mask. Go, hey, thank you so much. Have a good time. They're, why are you leaving? And I go, because if this is your mentality now, and when week 3 comes in, your first layer of skin is gone, and you don't have that respect there, and you don't understand what I'm bringing to the project, I'm not right for this. Like, go get your big guy with a mask, because that's not what I do.
That's like a thing that happens in the industry all the time. I mean, we constantly talk about it on our shows where we first meet an actor and they wind up doing like a couple of the same things, and then they're completely boxed into that. So for someone who's kind of up and coming and making sure that they can keep all those opportunities at their fingertips, what would you suggest that they do?
The main thing is to be you. What makes you different, step on that gas pedal. 'Cause I always preach about it in interviews or doing Q&As or whatnot, because for myself, like talking about the alopecia when I was younger, I thought I was the different kid. I was the outcast. I was the monster. And what I thought was my biggest weakness, once I moved to LA, I went, oh, wait a second, this is my biggest strength. So I went, this is amazing. So I feel like, I'm kind of walking the walk with things. So when I meet people and actors who are trying to be like other people, or like, oh, I want to look like, Susan Sarandon, or I'm like Mila Jovovich type. I go, no, stop. I go, we're all insecure about something, but whatever that insecurity is, own it, like hone in on that and accept it and bring that to the forefront. That vulnerability, when you bring that vulnerability forward, you find out that so many other, or what I found out, I should say, I get so excited also I start rambling, is that when you bring that vulnerability forward and the different people in your life, by showing that vulnerability, a lot of times they will match that vulnerability and it enriches your relationship to a deeper level. So I've kind of done it in a bigger sense with the kind of the world where I'm on this crazy Alice in Wonderland journey in Hollywood that can end at any time. I've been doing it for 20 years, and I'm so thankful. But if the more people I can make friends with and go let them know that it's going to be okay, and like we're all have our skill sets in different areas, and no one's better than anybody else. Like, just I can share that experience with more people. So I'm just very fortunate every day. And if it ends now, thank you, everybody. It's been a blast. So
That's so
lucky.
lovely.
I know. It's so cool that you could do that because, like, we're also talking about the convention circuit all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, using that opportunity to be able to attend one of those in the capacity you guys do and then be able to get there up on stage and just, I don't know, say something to an audience and, like, someone out there might really need to hear it at that point.
It's weird because it's not like a narcissistic thing. I try to constantly avoid that going, I'm talking about myself. I go, but if I can share my experiences with people, how do I get the accent come on? I'm from Bakersfield. If I can share this experience with people, boy, it makes me feel great. No, it makes me feel great that I can share that because I always say I'm a fan representing the fans, even at the cons where I'm like, oh man, like I get to go here if I'm not doing a TV or a film job. I get to travel around the world, meet people who love the same thing that I love and have a party for the weekend, but also meet older actors that I'm a fan of that, oh, you want to go to dinner and tell me what really happened? You can't tell the general public on the movie that I like? I'm trying to keep it together right now and not nerd out going, oh yeah, oh cool, Lance Henderson, that's awesome. So aliens did what? Oh, we're friends? Yeah, here's my number. Yeah, just I lose my mind.
What's the most starstruck you ever were at a con?
Oh gosh, not so much a con. It was actually I usually don't get starstruck at all anymore. But I was working on Sleepy Hollow, the TV show once, and I had a reoccurring back and forth. And I came in and hopped in my van to go to work one day, and he goes, hey, we got another guy coming in, just so you know. I go, oh, cool, I'll hop in the back. Like, I'm a guest star. I'm not like the regular cast. That's cool. So I hopped in the back, and I'm waiting, and all of a sudden, Clancy Brown came in the front seat. And I was like, he's like, hey, man, hey, how you doing, Clint? I'm like, yeah, we have mutual friends. Like, it was one of those, like, not ready for it at all. I knew that he was on the show, but I didn't know he was working at this time. Yeah. And he was the nicest gentleman in the world. He's like, hey, is it okay if I stop by later on and check out your makeup? And I'm like, you can do whatever you want. I'm a huge fan of your work, and having you be like a solid human being, like this is cloud nine for me. So just lucky.
Do you remember your first long sit in a makeup chair?
Yes, that was for Wild Wild West.
Okay.
At the time, it was a Wild Wild West. I've done other films before that, but the Wild Wild West was my first introduction to the Hollywood blockbuster and how that operates. Like, it was weird doing, like, because I was hired for the reshoots because they needed a bunch of big bad guys. I was the giant metalhead guy in the Spider. And it was such a crazy thing. There's times where like we had like a 22-hour day. We had like the makeup artist Ken Diaz who did my makeup. At one point, he was asking. He goes like, "Hey, we technically, we could pass right now, but I'd really like to work some of the detail if that's cool. And if you wouldn't mind, absolutely make it the best thing possible." And I think it was like 9 hours of makeup.
Oh my God.
And it was just like, oh, this is how Hollywood is? Okay, cool. So luckily it's not that all around, but it was a great learning experience for myself.
I'm totally just making this up right now, but I'm enjoying picturing it. Do you guys have like a creature actor like community or friend group? Because like the thought of like, I don't know, you, Javier Botet, and Doug Jones having a dinner party right now is just killing me.
But we've had those before. Like it's a small group of us who are actors who also happen to do makeup as well. Like Doug Jones and I have been friends for years, and we used to always be like, oh, I hate being called a creature performer. It drives me crazy. Like, that's not what I do. It's an aspect of what I do. Yeah. But a while back, we had like a dinner. It was like Doug Jones, Brian Steele, and myself, and just comparing ideas and tips, and because you're kind of in your own little realm. But I just met via Instagram, and now become I love this guy like nobody's business. Say his last name correctly, Riley Shanigan, who plays Robot Man on Doom Patrol. We have a mutual friend on the show, and he messaged me on social media, and he's new to some of the makeup stuff, but he's a terrific guy, a terrific actor. But we went and had lunch and had burgers and just commiserated and just shared notes with things you don't really realize that other people experience. Going, wait, you understand my language? It's we talked about at one point we had also, Riley, I hope I'm not throwing you in the bus. We're not supposed to talk about any of this because I'm talking about it. At one point, we're watching the episodes we haven't seen yet of the programs that we're a part of, and having that detachment, going, oh, that's the character, because we see the character through their own eyes, but seeing the outside, going, oh, is that what everybody sees? Oh, okay, because I'm so emotionally into what's going down. And not to see the outside. So I have a separation. And at one point we commiserated where he's like, do you have almost a traumatic flashback of some of the emotional peaks and valleys where I'm like, oh my God, yes. I'll watch the thing and I'll start to tear up or something like that, because my body remembers it, but as an actor you're lying to your body and going, oh, so it's as if you're reliving the tragedy that you experienced on set, and then in your pretend land, because we're cuckoo crazy actors, and seeing everybody else enjoy, going, oh, you love my misery? That's great. Yeah, I was bawling for 4 hours. Cool. All right, have a good time, guys. So really weird.
I mean, there's the mental demands of acting and everything, and also I think when you do, as you guys have embraced the extra level of working with the prosthetics, with the makeup and stuff, that takes a different kind of mental strength. And I'm genuinely curious, what is your best stay zen during the application removal tip? For people who want to get into it or anything like that, how do you keep your cool during those hours?
One is the breathing and the surrendering to that relaxation and basically meditating. But also to me, before I got hired for Swamp Thing, for example, they were asking what's important to you? And I was trying to go, look, even though I'm not the right guy, I've been doing this for so long, I want the project to be the best thing possible. So if you need advice, or I'll tell you, I go, on my end, a lot of the to take the stress and the time away is you really have to enjoy the people you're around. So the makeup artists that I work with, and I'm so lucky to have Ozzy Alvarez and Kevin Kirkpatrick, who applied my makeup because we're friends, and you have to like people, because you're going to have days kind of like in a war zone where you're locked in a trench together and you're ready to murder things around you, going it's so uncomfortable, or something's going down on set. But these guys are so kind and jovial, and we get along so well as a family, and it's not like work. It's like hanging out with your friends and putting the makeup on and kind of surrendering, because there are times where it's any minor little irritant, with somebody we're all human beings. There's some people you flow with, some people you don't. It's not a positive, negative on either side. It's some people your puzzle pieces fit, and some people you don't. And sometimes there's been people who one guy who would make jokes. It was one of those type of jokes who for himself. He's not making it for a bit. Hey, what about this one? But and shut the. Can I curse? No, I'm not gonna curse. I go, shut the fuck up. I'm gonna fucking murder you and poke your eyeballs out. Stop making jokes. I mean, it's as if it's you're not doing this for anybody else. You're just jerking off and go for everybody going, look at this. You're oh, I hate your style of humor, and I can't stand you. So after 3 days of that, you start to get you're grabbing someone's hand to your face, going if you poke my eye again, I'm gonna rip your face off. Stop. But if you enjoy the people, it's such a different experience, and you really just kind of surrender to the whole experience, because it's not going to be fun. And luckily, a Swamp Thing, for example, it's the best that it could possibly be. And going into it, it's like being a lifeguard and complaining you get wet. You're going you know what you're getting into. So just relax and make the best of it you can.
What's something about that process that has changed since when you first started that you're thank God they made that adjustment? I
don't know if it's changed, but every time I go, this is going to sound gross, but every time I get hired for a job, the first question to whatever company is designing the suit is, where is the escape hatch? Yeah. Because I have a performance bladder where I'm I never want to be that guy you're waiting on. So if I get called to set, I'm always gotta use the restroom first. Okay, ready to go. And we're focused on that, not thinking about that ever. And there's been times where it's like, oh yeah, or hearing horror stories going, oh yeah, we didn't put that in because it messed up. Okay, I'm not the right guy for this because like you have to be able to maneuver that zipper, and if not, like, ugh. And also the art. That just sounds like we just met you. I sound like a horrible human being. And guys, so anyways, my bladder, guys, it's great. But
It was a really open, candid show.
I know, really.
Oh my Lord, this is it's great having a career because after this comes out, I'm done. But also mastering the years of wearing different monsters and different monster hands and being able to work zippers, with like, oh, I have predator claws, and like, okay, now we have, how do you open this? I'm a giant, muck person. Ridiculous. So for me, the zipper is the one thing that over the years, how they hide it, how they put it into the design. Thank God for all of that, because if not, I would be ruined.
Wait, now I'm curious. If
Yeah.
you had to live in one of your get-ups for one of your movies,
Yeah.
what is the one you would want to live in most and least?
The least one would be, though it's such an impressive piece of art, and don't take any of this negative at all. It was Edward, the troll from Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. That was the most difficult job.
Big
We love
fans
that
in this
movie.
room
no
right
way.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, this was so happy. With Spectral Motion of Micah Rizzoldi. Bernie. Bernie's last. I say his last name wrong. Eisel. God dang it! I'm a horrible person. Bernie, who designed the suit for that, also designed the Swamp Thing outfit. How it all goes together. But the Hansel and Gretel outfit was so difficult to work with, but also such a joy because the studio wanted to do it all CG, and we kept going, oh, we can do it practical with CG elements. Like, let us tap in that humanity. 'Cause I feel if you all there's a point in TV and film where the CG and the practical can mirror or meld together to make a great final product. But if it's just all CG, you lose some of the humanity, in my opinion. You don't get the energy, you don't get the pathos or the energy that's going on, for the character. And so I kept going, like, the craziest one on Hansel and Gretel, I had a 3-month shoot in Berlin, and the first week of shooting, I was like MMA shape. Like, whatever I do, I'm always like ready to go for whatever that particular job is. Yeah. And I was ready to rock and roll, but week 1, because the headpiece was so heavy, I got a herniated disc in my neck. Oh. And we pushed through, and I would get like spinal injections. It was the most excruciating pain. They go, every time you put the helmet on, it's gonna grind your discs together. And I'm like, yeah. But I'm a huge fan of Dead Snow and Tommy Wirkola. This is his first big Hollywood thing. I go, I told you I'd give you blood before we started. I go, if it affects the performance, like, please, like, replace me with somebody else. I go, but we can do this, and we have the right team together to pull this off.
I like how your pitch begins with, but I'm a huge fan of Dead Snow.
Yeah, it's really
totally
good.
Dead.
And because of that job, it was so nice. I became friends with the guys from Dead Snow, and they're like, Derek, a lot of people don't know, but we are going to do Dead Snow too, and we have written you a part. If you want to come to Norway to shoot, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it right now. We ended up going to Iceland, but I was like, are you kidding me? And a lot of the Dead Snow guys now are pals of mine from Norway, so when they come into town, like, we'll hang out, and they'll destroy my liquor cabinet, which is awesome.
Nice. Is your neck okay now?
Sure.
Yeah.
No, it healed up. I mean, it took me about a year to heal
It's
it.
a rough injury.
But it was real tough because that suit was just a literal monster to do. But also, it had to be, and that's why I got hired to do it, because the art that these guys create, it's almost like having creating a beautiful artwork that's a spaceship, and I get to be the pilot for it, and you don't pilot it alone, because I can't tell you how to fix it. I can't. And some of the guys who actually worked on the Edward outfit worked on the Mars rover and some of the technology, and I'm like, this is so cutting edge. I'm loving it. But for the best suit, I really the ones where I'm not wearing suits is the most comfortable. I'm not sure. Twin Peaks, man, that was so comfortable wearing that fake face that wasn't mine, getting beat up. So that was great. No, it's all.
Would you ever do motion capture, or have you ever done before,
I have,
straightforward performance capture?
Yeah, I've done a lot of that. I've done like working on Halo and
that makes sense.
And some of the Lord of the Ring games and whatnot. That's always just a blast. Like, especially my background's all improv comedy, where I've done improv professionally since I was 17. And so, like, especially when you do performance capture or mocap, like using your imagination and mime, and like, oh, this is just like a higher end improv show, but like that's scripted, so it's fun.
Well, we said we love Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters.
That makes me so happy.
I think that design, that suit, is one of the most incredible prosthetic things I've seen. Likewise, the Swamp Thing is a gorgeous design. Where does that suit fit on your scale of miserable to wearing a mask?
Honestly, the suit is the best that it could possibly be. And I've said before in another interview, I was dating myself because I'm like, oh, it's the Cadillac of suits. And it really, really is. Like the thought that Justin Raleigh and Fractured Effects put into this is just above and beyond. Because sometimes with some shops, like where they say what they're going to do for the run of the show, and they'll put the very minimal in, or they'll meet the requirements of what they said they're going to do. But Justin would do the opposite, knowing how long I had to be in the suit for 7-8 months. He would dip into his own profits just to make it right. And also knowing James Wan's passion, because he's worked with James so many times, they wanted to be the best thing possible, because also majority of us, on the team are nerds for Swamp Thing. And so we're going, this is our shot to like put our mark and to make the fan. This is for the fans. And I tell you, the thing is just gorgeous. And when I first met with them, they're like, is there anything that you can think of, like new things or things that haven't even been done before that you would like or would like to talk about for the suit? And out of the 6 things that I brought up, well, no one's ever done, and they're like, did it? Could you make? Is it possible to vent? Because sometimes if you're inside the suit and when you're doing emotional scenes, that you heat up. There's nowhere for the energy, and they go, did it? Okay, it's like everything I named out, they put in and went above and beyond, and it moves so well, because a lot of times when you do a makeup job, when you're looking in the mirror, like seeing what you have to work with, it's almost like if you're like a race car driver, you're seeing how the brakes work, you're seeing how the accelerant and how is it reading for camera. Same thing with the emotions, and you might have to turn something up a little bit more and kind of reset your neutral baseline. Like with acting in general, like I'm a little more animated than most people, so for straight acting I have to back off and kind of dull it a little bit so it's normal, because you're not going to be in an emotional conversation with, hey, wait a second, like, hey, stop moving, like, bring it down,
maybe
ding
for
dong.
some projects.
Yeah, it's cuckoo. But the same thing for makeup stuff. Like you have to figure out what that neutral line is, and with this I didn't really have to do anything. There are scenes like I'm watching the show, because a lot of times I don't want to watch the monitor, I don't want it to affect I don't want to get in my head what the performance is, because it's coming through me and I'm feeling it, and that's always, if you're feeling it, it's always right. So I would watch some of the show with my wife now, and I'm like, oh, is that how? Oh, that emotion. Oh, that's pretty moving. And going, oh yeah, that's me. Pretty cool. Oh, that's pretty. So yeah, that's my. Also, please feel free to cut me off at any time. Like you'll ask me, like you can go like, Derek, what's your favorite comic book? And you'll be like, I will go back to like when I was 5 years old. I opened my first. Shut up and just say Batman.
So far, you have a
moving
perfect
on.
score with storytelling right
okay.
now. So the door is open
Okay.
for you to continue as much as you want.
Please.
I'm very curious what you thought when this opportunity first crossed your path, because we've had some other DC All Access shows come our way, but I still imagine when this was pitched to you, that was still in its like infancy.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw. People are gonna hate me for this. Like, producers like, what? When I first went in, I was on the short list for the character, and my reps contacted me going, hey, you have a meeting over at Warner Brothers. They want to see you for this project, for the Swamp Thing project. They're doing a new Swamp Thing. I'm like, okay, cool. And like, here's here all the sides. They want to have you read. Okay. So I went in and read and did my thing, and met all the producers and the showrunners and whatnot. All right, cool. And I left, and my rep called and was like, hey, my manager's like, so how'd it go? And I go, pretty well. I go, I think I'm in the number one position. I had that feeling from them. I don't know for sure. And he goes, no, that's what we think too. Like, oh my! And he was getting excited. He's like, dude, are you not excited? And I go, well, to be honest, my friend, I go, I just don't understand how you're gonna do like a PG-13 all access, CW Swamp Thing show. How are you going to pull that off? So I'm not really that stoked about it. And he's like, Derek, it's the DC universe. It's hard R. They're following the Alan Moore as a Bible. And he goes, it's a horror drama. That's what they're going for. And I go, wait, what? I'm sorry. And then, because I never know who's who or who's done what, because I have that big equality thing going, we're all artists in different mediums, and we work together as a team. So there's no like, I'm this guy. And then he started naming off who was in the room and what their accomplishments were, and I'm like, and suddenly they called back and said, hey, we're going to have you come back in. We're going to have a reader with you. We're going to have like a female actress this time, and we have a couple more scenes, and we'd like to see how you play off of her, for this role. And I'm like, okay, cool. And that's when I kind of started getting like worried, going, But the funny thing about it was when I was leaving here's a fun story, like inside secret. Just hold on to this. When I was leaving the second time, and I go, hey, can I ask you guys a quick question? Being that you have ties with DC and Warner Brothers, and I go, it's about an obscure DC character, and they go, oh yeah, sure. What do you want to know? And I go, like an A-list writer friend of mine, we were talking about exploring a property and possibly expanding a property, but we didn't know if there's any traction on him right now. And they go, yeah, fire away. What character? And I go, well, it's my favorite DC character. I go, the Blue Devil. And they all froze. Nobody moved. And it's like you sucked air out of the room, and everyone just stared at me, and nobody moved. And I went, or you cannot tell me if something's happening, and I can just exit the room. That's fine. That way, it's always a secret. And they're like, and Gary Doberman was so awesome. Like, this is how, like, when you first meet somebody, you store that moment in your head. Gary Doberman was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll tell him. And he goes, maybe that character will show up as soon as the second episode of the project that you're reading for. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Oh, this is the coolest thing ever. Okay, yeah, cool, I'm going to go. Okay, bye. So ridiculous. So, yeah, I was super stoked to see that they cast, Ian Ziering, and who's the sweetest human being in the world, in the role. And it's just been a real Alice in Wonderland journey. And I'm to see where it continues to take me. I don't know.
It's I think a lot of people had sort of your read on it before it came out, though, which is like, how do you do this justice, not knowing how hard it was going to be? And it comes through.
Oh, I'm so happy because even when we're shooting the show, like nobody ever talked about like superhero, though he is technically a superhero. Yeah. It's all horror drama, and the way Mark Verheiden and Gary Doberman ran their writers' room, like everyone was just so freaking cool on the show and talented, but everyone wanted in each department to fire on all cylinders. It just wasn't one of those Hollywood clock in. I've never done it, but I've seen people kind of like, oh, I'm just doing this, and they'll clock in, and like, what's the minimum I have to do? Like, blah, 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 do my line, all right, later. And like, what are you doing? But everybody would put that extra effort in, and we all felt it early on where there was something special, and we kept talking about it. I remember Virginia Madsen talking about it, going, we would have get-togethers at her houses on Sundays, and we would the cast, producers, we'd all hang out together and had this bonding of a family, but right off the bat, and it was. It's kind of unheard of for a show to do that, but we all felt it was something special. And it was so interesting also, having the script to go from, but realizing there's certain scenes like, when you're hanging out with friends with somebody before you actually do scenes together or whatnot, and what our take is. So you don't know, your color, your puzzle piece that you're bringing to the table, but you have an idea what the overall picture is going to be, but you don't know for sure. But finding out that everyone is playing it like Chekhov, and no one is like winking at the camera, and if there's an emotional scene, everyone is just going full bore, going, oh, and that tick for tat for going like, oh, you did what? Okay, cool. I'm going to match you and do this. And it was really like a group effort, like to make it, like I keep saying before, the best thing possible. And like there'd be times like people would have days off, and what you would never hear of, they would just come in to hang out on set. And going, oh, what are you guys shooting? Oh, cool. And like, oh, so the family feel between cast and crew, like the Wilmington crew was just so passionate about it, and they knocked it out of the ballpark. It was such a heartbreaker to find out, after our first episode that we got canceled for the second season. Yeah. But all we've heard up until that point was like how amazing everything was, and everyone's going, we have a big hit on our hands. Like, this is crazy. And I'm like, I don't want to hear any of that. My relationship between me and my art, but knowing and loving everybody on board, that got me excited going, oh, for them, that's cool. So it's a weird, like, nebulous space that we're all in now because we don't know officially why that would happen or why they canceled it. Even if you are going to cancel it, wouldn't you wait until later on to see how it plays with fans before? So something's going on somewhere.
Why would you signal to people like this is over? Why don't tune in? I guess because you're only going to
get
so much.
It wasn't even just that. I mean, it seemed very bizarre to me that the cancellation happened when it did because not only were you guys, and also you talking about a family and having had such a good experience making the project, but then you also got good reviews, and then you hear about that. But even before, when you found out that the episode lineup was going to be shortened, I don't even understand how you process that while you're working on something.
We have the greatest people on board. I was worried at first because so. As opposed to having a guest star or being on a feature, your full character arc, and you're planning with this. I'm still planning my character arc, but I don't know the total end because it's still coming. It's kind of that conveyor belt of scripts where I'm shooting 104 while 105 I'm getting them soft memorized, getting prepared, and it just kind of keeps coming and keeps coming. So you're kind of speculating where your kind of arc is going to be or where you're going, and it was so crazy. We were on 10 when we got the call, going so we're getting cut to 10 from 13. And we're like, what?
Wow.
Also reading the script for 11 going, no. Okay. So I was worried at first because we had a week or 2 weeks to redo everything and execute it so it all makes sense. And I was worried going, I don't know how we're going to get this all together because we've been laying so many beautiful puzzle pieces. And the complexity these writers are doing is just what a gift, an absolute gift to be able to perform with. And seeing what they did and having the new get together and just work their sleepless nights, putting it all together, going and handing out the script for the new ending and going oh my God, this works. I don't know how you guys did this. You guys are magicians. I am on board for this, and I understand, where it's going and whatnot. I was just so happy, but I was, honestly worried because also knowing how many, the sacrifices the cast and crew made to be there and for each other, and also I talked about it before, in a tweet, going the blood, sweat, and tears are literal. There's stuff that went down and people leaning on each other as a team. For myself, that to me is the most important thing, where it doesn't matter if you're the guy in the editing room, the crazy late hours with no one around you, you're the editing the show, if you're the working in the mold department, to make an extra Swamp Thing ear or something, going, you're a cog in this giant machine. Your fingerprint is a part of this. We're all together. I'm lucky to be the figurehead, and sometimes because people go, oh, you're that guy. I go, oh, thank you so much for the compliment that you're giving me. Doesn't just go to me, it goes to everybody on here because it takes a team to make something like this happen. And I'm very proud of what we did, but also very saddened by the almost the sense of a lack of respect, going we have a brand new baby we worked so hard on, and having someone slit their throat and go, here's the baby, and going oh, you get no more baby after this. Why would you do that? So I don't know, but but overall, lucky to have the opportunity to do that, and the people and friends that I've made off this, we're going to be friends for forever, and they're good human beings.
I like that you could spin it positively in the end, because at the very least, we still have a complete season that was able to be turned around despite that one hiccup towards the end.
Yeah, we get a 10-hour movie, which is great, and it's something that I think there's elements that we want as fans and that we executed, and I feel that we've pulled off. And it's better to do that than have done nothing at all. And who knows, maybe something will switch somewhere, or if something will flip and we can all get together again. But I tell you, it's one of the best experiences I've had, and set the bar really high for working together with a group of people.
That's what I was wondering. I mean, is there any chance to save it and bring it somewhere else? Find a different avenue, especially if you guys find so much success the first time around.
Yeah, right.
I don't understand why someone wouldn't want to grab that.
I kept going that to Mark Verheiden, our showrunner, and when we were shooting, I go, I kept going, thank you. Thank you. I said, I don't know how you, on the cast side, not knowing how, because you didn't read everybody together, knowing people's chemistry, I don't know how you cast that way to kind of capture this lightning in a bottle of good people and working together without no one being a problem. And the same thing with the crew, to bring these people who are so passionate and talented, But it's literally like showing up with your friends and going, let's create art together. Like, what do you need for your art? Oh, you need that? Okay. For mine, I need this. Like, how do we, if we go this way. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. And it's like, that to me is like the biggest thing at all. And to see everybody get respect, because sometimes, there's unfortunately, there's a hierarchy on set, and people are like, oh, I'm just this person. I go, what? You're the caterer? I can't make food for 260 people. That's your skill set. Like, that's your art. Like, I play pretend. And I go, so there's no hierarchy. So we work together. So it just felt so good the entire time. And yeah, it's such a weird thing this all went down. But even my managers recently, he goes, yeah, people are calling to check on you through me to see how you're doing. And he's like, Derek's fine. Like, I'm taking this harder than Derek is. Right. And he's like, oh, it's part of the business. And I'm like, yeah, it is part of the business. Like, you can't control it, so why am I going to fight it? So I've always wanted to be known personally for my career. Like, people talk about, like, awards or this. Oh, you're the Oscar. I don't give two shits about any of that. Like, what I want to be known for is, like, oh, that guy did good work. Yeah. Like, he moved me. Like, whatever his passion was, like, oh, he got to do his passion. And that, to me, I'm just like, yeah, done.
Doing good work yourself, but talking about the mentality and the way that you approach projects, it also seems like you help bring the best work out of others. And just hearing that kind of approach to everything is, like, really heartwarming to me.
Yeah. You try to, I mean, in my experience over the years of doing this, you really want to create that safe creative space. Because I've been in that spot. Like, the hardest thing you can do in the acting business is auditioning and coming in as a guest star or a co-star, because you're the new kid at school. Every day's a first day for you. There's people who have their ongoing relationships. They know the flow. They know the tone of the show. And you're the one, like, you stand here, do this. Okay, you don't know anybody. And do your 3-page monologue. Now cry. No. Okay, hey, man. So all this pressure is all around you. And we had a thing on the show, which was I'm so happy, because it wasn't like a spoken thing. It just kind of happened, where we'd have guest stars come in, and I personally would try to dissipate a lot of the fear and going like, hey, man, I go, here's how the show is. We're not technically word for word, as long as you get the main idea across. Here's the tone of the theme. Since the show hasn't been out, everyone's playing it like Chekhov, playing it dead straight. And I remember Scotty Deckert, who's one of our guest stars, a reoccurring guest star, he was like, the sweetest human being. We hit it off great. He goes, I've never been treated like this before. You're treating me like a regular cast member. You'd go out to the bars or go to have drinks and have dinner, and I'd be included and treated equally. You weren't axe throwing, and you guys invited me to act. This is so weird. I go, no, you understand. We're all in the same boat, because once the show goes down, we're all back in the same unemployment line. So why not be cool? But that was the mentality where, like, if you had like a safe, playful space, that's where your best work comes from, because you can take those risks and you're not worried about someone like freaking out and yelling at you. And so you have that, even if something's not working out, go, it's not working. Why don't we try this? But in the sense of doing the improv side of things, whether you're saying yes and going, oh, what do you need for your thing? Okay, I don't see it that way, but I'm going to try to make it work. Let's try that. And if it doesn't, like, someone else will tell us. And it was such a fun, creative process. I can keep talking. And Derek, stop saying all the positive stuff. Give us the dirt.
I feel like the more positive we can continually verbalize and put out in the air means it's going to happen everywhere. Or at least I'm just going to keep telling myself that.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Well, I mean, it's like, it's also impressive because genuinely, from what you said, from what James Wan said on social, nobody understands why or how this happened. So it seems like it'd be the kind of thing that's so easy to get angry about. And I just have a lot of respect for the healthy approach you have taken to it.
I'm always that guy, though. Also, like, even if I have a loved one pass away, like, I remember at one point I was talking to my mom's funeral, and I go, I know everyone. I was speaking at the funeral, going, look, I understand that everyone is so sad, and like, it's our time to mourn because that's what we do as human beings. We see our own morality, our mortality within people's deaths, and we feel that loss of love. I go, but I choose to see it as that I've got to have this person as my mother for all these years, and I would rather have those years than not have those years. And going, I'm the lucky one who got to be her son. And so we all have that moment where we can all I know how she is, and she would choose to celebrate because she wasn't just a mom for me. She was a mom to so many people, and she had that nurturing instinct. And I go, so I choose to celebrate this, going, hey, we all got to have her in our life, and like let's celebrate that side of things rather than being bummed out. You'll still be bummed out, which is fine. And then also I remember, to get personal, we were at the funeral home, and like there's an open field behind me, and I was talking at a podium, and I go, and also the Green Lawn mortuary and cemetery have actually, in honor for my mother, have actually, being that it's July, have decided to do a fireworks show for her. So, so take it away, Green Lawn. And we did this, and I waited for like a good full minute or something like that until one of my friends who knows me, and he's like, "There's no fireworks." I go, "Oh, that's right, because I'm lying." Okay, so enjoy your day. And everyone it gave that levity, and everybody broke. Then everybody started coming up and telling the stories about like, "Oh my God." So I'm that guy who's like, I try to like. I'm human. Like I have my good days and my bad days. I'm not a saint at all. Like I try to have, similar to Swamp Thing, to have that strive for that balance. So like all the stuff that goes down with the show, going like, man, we got to be together. I got to work with some of the most talented people in the industry. And it got captured on camera, and people are enjoying it, and hearing that it's moving people. That's all you could wish for. And if like I said before, if everything ends now, it's been a great run. So no regrets.
I love that
Super
approach.
classy.
I feel like you just reinforce something that we talk about all the time, which is like everybody in the horror community. It's like we all make, like dark, bloody, gory stuff, but I don't know. It all comes from like a really sweet and heartfelt place, and it just seems like horror filmmakers we've met are some of the most loving, warm people out there.
It's the craziest thing. I was just doing a con like last weekend in Vegas, and I had this conversation where there are some people. Like one person was like, "Oh, I'm a horror fan, but I've never been to a con." I'm like, welcome to the family. And I try to give the breakdown from my experience. Pardon me. And I go, as an actor, I go through different genres of film. And I go, there's different fan genres. And I go, the horror fans, out of all the other fans that I've experienced, I don't know if it's because we've all felt like outcasts at certain times or not accepted. They are the nicest human beings in the world. I've told the story over and over where I've literally seen people in like my lines like to come say hi, which I'm so thankful for. Like someone will have like a John Carpenter's The Thing shirt on, and someone's like next to him, very introverted, and going, "Oh, you like The Thing?
Yeah,
it's my favorite movie too. Oh, cool, we're friends. All right, cool, we're friends." And then later on, you see them hanging out at the bars together. Yeah. Cons later, you see them hanging out, going like, "Oh my God, this is like the nicest group of people in the freaking world."
So weird you say that. I was just at a Vegas con. We were online at a taco stand, and the buddy that I was with was wearing a really cool Spiderman shirt, and the person standing in front of us wasn't even going to the con. Turns around, he goes, "Awesome shirt, man." And we waited in line because it was like a hot place for like something like 30, 40 minutes talking to this guy. Yeah, it was great.
It's that great bonding going, like I think we need that more in the world in general, where it's like you find the common things that you can relate to, or the things that are different, going, "Oh, well, he's wearing that. It's all right, he's cool. He's got that Spiderman shirt on. Like, which one is it? Okay, that's the good one. We're friends."
Oh, I love the sound of
this
that.
This is fun.
Good. Yeah, it is fun.
I feel bad. I feel like we're hanging out. I want to ask you guys questions and hang out. So when you guys, your listeners are like, "Shut up, Derek. We've been here the whole time. You're the new person."
We could talk about all this kind of stuff all day. I mean, we pretty much do. We come close to it at least.
Yeah, we do our best.
I do have another burning question for you because you have worked with so many incredible people in this industry.
Who are the drunks? Okay, first off.
All right, you can answer.
No, I'm kidding.
If you could pick one person, I mean, like maybe some of us a little bit. If you could pick one person that you've yet to work with that is like on the top of your list, who would it be?
Oh my God, that's a really good question. I don't. I've gotten to the point also life-wise, like spiritually, I've just kind of surrendered and went like, where do you need me the most? Like whatever happens, happens, and that's the way I'll let my kind of compass go and guide me. But I never really think about like, that person someday. This is a real tough one. I don't have like a favorite like actor, or people go, who do you look up to? I go, just creation in general. The person that rocks my world is a musician. But early on, I heard him in an interview talking about creativity and like breaking your own walls and like coloring outside the box and like things that would not normally be associated with what you're doing to incorporate that, to take risks for risk and reward. And then going, you're going to fail, but it just really inspired me about just like an open creativity. And that gentleman's Mike Patton, who is the lead singer. A lot of people know him from Faith No More, but he's done so many other albums and other groups since then. He'll do. He studied with John Zorn, or the Theater Voice in San Francisco, and to find out he's the one that, when they did that survey online where everyone's like, who has the highest, the biggest range as a singer, male singer, and everyone's like, oh, it's Axl Rose, and then later on, oh, we retract that, and actually it's Mike Patton. For to have the range, but he would do songs like in Portuguese. He would do, like he'd add rap to one side. He'd switch genres in the middle of a song and go to a different style and just push all these different boundaries. I just found out that he's doing all this music for Joe Hill's AMC's Nosferatu, and I'm like, oh, I want to see that real bad. So to me, like that guy, I also never want to like meet him, because if he ever turned out to be a jerk, it would crush me creatively. Like I just love his work, and like I mean, but it would be cool to work with him in a sense, like when if he scored something to be a part of it. Like I would love to do like a tension building silent scene and have him do the music to that. That to me would be like, oh, you kidding me? But there's so many. It's so hard. There's so many talented people out there that I would just love to work with, and it's just like. It's like being like a foodie and going like, what's your favorite food? I'm like, there's so many. What do you mean?
It's I mean, even just looking at horror, which is not all that you do, there are limitless options.
Oh, you're very sweet.
So no, I mean, and it's true. You're kind of all over the place in your career. Like you said, you don't just do the costume stuff. You work on TV, films, wherever you're called for. Do you have is there something that you love to do the most? Like, do you like the production process of film more than television, or do you like having as you said, the scripts laid out so that you can do a full character arc?
On that side, there's something that I prefer than anything else, but I just love when you're in that zone where. Similar to it, like there's several different forms of intelligence, and even if you're not into something that somebody else is doing, I remember when I was younger.
We make up words here too.
And all of a sudden I was like, "What's with poop?" Jesus.
Breakout quote.
But I remember when I was younger and I saw slipping through channels and I saw Ben Folds playing a piano, and I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what he was doing, but he was playing it like a percussion instrument. Later on, to find out that he's a drummer originally, and so he learned piano to play a certain way, and I was just mesmerized. So there's certain things about certain performances, no matter what your art medium is even if you're not into it, but when you see when someone's so connected to whatever it is they're doing that you lose track of time, it's that in the zone where like I don't know how long have I been watching this? Like I don't know, or like a basketball player will be on fire, and like hitting shots upon shots. That's that creative zone. I love seeing that, and also I love being in it because there's times like on Swamp Thing where there are certain parts where there's such a mania to some of the things he's experiencing because he's going through this existential crisis, and you're literally just kind of tearing your own, the walls of your own inner self house and tearing them apart and questioning, going like, oh wait, there's really nothing behind here, and losing your mind in a sense. But having those days where like what did we do? Oh, that's the last shot? Oh, how long? Oh, we've been here 14 hours? Okay, cool. And not knowing that it's just gone by because you're so focused and connected to whatever you're doing. I love those moments. And that to me, it's that Shakespeare, 1 foot in dream, 1 foot in reality. And when you lose yourself and just focus on the art and just kind of surrender whatever you believe in, or like a creative force that kind of comes through us, that to me is like the ultimate high in a sense. So if that answer your question?
That's what you're always looking for.
Okay, thank God.
What do you do for fun? Do you have any random hobbies?
I have 6 animals, which is
I
crazy.
Didn't even have
You
to.
didn't have
I
to?
swear, every single witching hour, we always ask our guests if they have any pets.
Oh yeah, I'm a ding dong of an animal person. So yeah, we have 3 dogs and 3 cats, so they take up a lot of my time. And we have he's almost turned 2 now. We have a Boxkey puppy. and Boxy he's a half boxer, half husky, and my wife and I. I'll show you pictures.
Yes, please.
I rescued him, or my wife and I rescued him, and we kept going. He's getting bigger.
God.
Is he going to stop growing? So he's about 80 pounds now.
Oh, wow.
But we're also going through the prepubescent, where it's like the teenager stage, where I'm trying to figure out where he is in the pack, and I'm like,
What's his name?
It's Charlie Atari.
Oh, Charlie.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture.
He's so happy.
He's like the Rob Lowe of puppies. Like, we don't buy animals for like the way they look. We're like, oh, you're a handsome dude. So yeah, he is just an absolute treat. But animals, read. I used to do video games all the time, but then I found this new thing called books, where I'm like, I should actually.
What are those?
I feel, more substantial when I'm done, and I don't feel hollow going like, it's done. I saved the universe. That's okay.
Doesn't feel like I did.
That is not in no way by a diss, because I just bought like 4 new video games. I'm going to try this. I'm going to get back into it. So I am on board with it. But yeah, what are you guys into?
I'm actually working on reading more at the moment, personally, because it's one of those things that's too easy not to give yourself time to do.
I am listening to audiobooks
Ooh.
while I'm training for my marathon.
Yes, you
What? Training for a marathon?
First one in November.
How long? How many miles?
26.2. Scares the crap out of me, but you know what? I'm going to get there.
Nothing but respect. Like, that is cuckoo town. It starts off with baby puppy pictures, and then you see where he is now as an adult human
Heck yeah.
person.
Oh.
Yeah.
Puppy baby.
He is.
No. This is his eyes.
Oh yeah, he's got crazy blue eyes.
I can't handle it.
Puppy baby.
I can't handle
my
it.
I found out also being a nerd. Like, I put his name if you type in Boxkey in Google, I don't know if it's still there, but he used to be like a ton of his pictures. I'm like, oh, he's a star.
He is
Charlie's
a
doing
beauty.
it. Yeah, he is.
Do a lot of them have? I love how I'm asking you about like the specific dog breed now, but do a lot of them have the blue eyes?
I don't know. I really don't.
Wow.
Like, he's such a character.
Here.
So just the traits of a husky and a boxer mixed together, with the chirping and the talking and the attitude.
Personality, yeah.
Oh, but he has this ever since he was a puppy. Like, it's so weird. My wife and I kept going, what is his deal? He has this side eye thing where he's like better than you, but he has that. It's almost like it's like Sam Jackson just caught you talking crap about him, where he's just like. And you're like, oh no, but there's no emotion behind it, and he's just like, oh no. If you yell at him, going like, Charlie, no, you're not supposed to chew that. He'll just sit back and take that power stance and just kind of like side eye, be like, are you done? And you're like, you're not even afraid. Like, you're
sassy boy.
But
I feel like the cat version of that is just like, you're not allowed to do something, and it's just sitting there like, what are you going to do about it?
That's exactly. But if he wants something, he'll switch full on Disney eyes, where his ears will almost loop all the way around. His eyes will get super big. Like, are you going to eat that piece of bacon? I know we're not supposed to eat bacon right now, and all the other dogs are in the room. But if you want to give me a piece, that could be between you and I, and everything will be a-okay. Yeah, Charlie Atari.
That makes me so happy. Do you want to do our last recurring question? Because especially if you're reading right now. Now I'm force feeding you a medium to go with, but we wrap every interview with this question.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be books. It can be books, comic books, anything you want, web series, movies, film. Those are the same.
I do that all the time in interviews. Where if I ever go back and listen to the interview, where oh my god, I sound really confident, and I'll be so redundant and going like, did I make sense? So you are totally fine.
So you can choose between movies or film.
Okay.
What's exciting you right now in the genre? Something you've seen, read, heard that just you're digging it.
This is a great question, by the way, because I also love when you ask people. I've gotten to the point with TV and film, we're telling modern myths, and so we have our own personal myth outside of that. Because I'm a big Joseph Campbell fan, and so when I try to get to know somebody, I'll ask what their favorite film is, and also what's the film you've seen the most, because that's kind of like the you don't want to admit to it, but there's something usually would find out there's something about their own personal story that ties into that film, because art is so subjective. So you find out going, oh, you like Forrest Gump because, and it's a little subtextual thing. So what am I into right now? What am I cuckoo crazy about? I'm still stuck on. I'm digging Mandy. Like I know I saw it a while ago, but I still like the movie Mandy. It just like I love the creativity and like there were some shots like when I saw it in the theater for the first time, I would tear up and I would look at the person next to me and go, how do you get that shot? Like just that alone is that still is just freaking gorgeous. What else? Oh, this is a good question, and I'm just failing and flailing right now.
Well, you've already got one good one on the list.
Yeah.
Doing it with Mandy. I'm reading Savage Avengers, which I'm really enjoying. On that, there's all kinds of. I've also do the thing when I'm reading books. Like I have like 5 different books I'm reading all at once, but I'm also like I need to focus on one.
Oh,
and
that
just
stresses
finish
me
that.
out so much.
It's so
I'm
stupid.
like the opposite, where even if I put a book down for a little, I'll never let myself go to the next one without finishing that one in full because my brain just can't.
Here's something. In general, my wife and I, like, I'm so lucky I married the right woman. Like, you don't exist on paper. We both love schlock movies, where like if it's like 7 o'clock and we don't have like anything in Hollywood to do, Hollywood shuts down. We have like the Oscar screeners going, no. We want to watch like dinosaur, bathroom, booger monster 7, like makeup or whatever. Yeah, it's real bad, or real bad indies. We always say a lot of times, going, look, we have an ongoing speech where we're like, okay, someone made something so freaking hard to do. Hats off to you. With that said. Let's see what we got.
That's right.
A lot of them are not so good, but it's not a hate watching thing. We're like, oh, this guy, what an idiot. We will Mystery Science Theater and talk out loud because that's the rules. But I find such joy in like going like, wait, how did you think that would work? Or seeing what you're doing and going, oh, like, okay, I see where it fell apart. But every now and then you'll find somebody who wrote, directed, starred, and produced the film, and you're like, oh man, like if you just stuck with the writing, like that part is really, really good. Not poo-pooing anything else you've done, but like that you've really got a skill set there. But I love like the weird creativeness of things, and like seeing also people can always get better each time they do something and grow. So like I said, it's not a diss at all, but I honestly have such a passion of going like, oh, what is this? Like, yeah, an old. It's like we go to cons. If anything about cons, my wife would come back. Hey, I found something. This is called like Killdozer. It's like Christine, but with a bulldozer. I'm like, I love you. Yes, I want to see that right now. Are you kidding me? So she'll find these crazy treasures, and like I just love going down these rabbit holes. Like we're going through all the old Andy Sedaris films through Full Moon right now, like Picasso Trigger or Hard Ticket to Hawaii. It's just so cheesy and good. Like we're also going through. I've never thought she's gonna laugh that I brought this up because I can talk about things we're into right now. We're going through the old Lorenzo Lamas Renegade series, which is super awesome. But we also play it like. The show's so much fun. We'll play it. It's almost like you're watching a WWE show where like you get behind like some of the cheesiness that they're going like a lot of times you're like that's not no. But if like a wrestling, what? Yeah. Oh yeah. Excuse me. You're talking to a guy who's wanted for a crime that he did not commit. So maybe you don't know. And like many a times like someone will say something like like so you got a problem, stranger? And I'm like karate. It's our short talk for like, oh, here it comes. Like, what do you do? Like, yeah, teach them a lesson with your boots. So sorry. I know I'm going on a weird tangent, but it's like just to give you my vulnerability. We're so into like, we love like the cheese factor, but also it's not, like I said, not making fun of it. Like we love it. Yeah. So that's what we're into.
Your tangents are the best tangents. Seriously, I wish we had time to keep on going. It makes me so sad. We have to wrap this up.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I feel like I've been doing a monologue the entire time.
No, it's been a delight.
I really like delightful is the way to describe this conversation.
So nice.
Everybody out there knows because we talk about it often. DC All Access, Swamp Thing. Go give it a watch. Is there any like personal social media or other projects you want to plug?
I mean, I have my own stuff where I have my own. I run my own social media. I don't have a manager or somebody else do it because I always try to open that curtain up for Oz and Hollywood. And from time to time, I'll try to get back to people. But also, it's gotten to the point where it's so much now where I'm like, oh, I'm not trying to be a jerk if I don't return your message. But it's just at Derek Mears on basically all the platforms. And I also I have a show that I do called The Resistance, where it's a live show here in LA. We do at UCB on Sunset. The last Sunday of every month now. We've taken a break because we're all in the industry and we're all over the place, and I've been gone 7 months. So we decided to do one show a month just so we all can get together. But what we do is it's a long form. We improvise an action movie live on stage, and we have a keyboardist who scores it live. We have a guy in the booth doing lights and sound effects. But what makes our show unique is we have a bunch of different stunt pads, kind of like giant Lego blocks. We'll build scenes. We'll do full improvised fights. There's ladders, ropes, water bottles. It's crazy. We tell the audience I've been doing improv since I was 17. We'll tell the audience and be going, look, we don't know what's going to happen, but it's not our show. It's all of our shows, including the audience. So we might come out to you and do a scene in the audience. We might have you come up and join us. There's no secret inner like Herald format. Like we don't know what's going on, but we tell like these long form narratives that make sense. And we're like, I don't know how we've been doing it for so many years now, and they make it just like the audience like, wait, you guys talked about that. Like you built a giant helicopter out of a ladder and a jump rope, but it made, and you guys are playing dead serious. We're like, yeah, we don't know how this all comes together, but it makes sense, and we just have a blast doing it. But we do that. It's called The Resistance Comedy on social media.
Resistance Comedy.
And I love performing with those guys because
like a blast.
Also, you guys ever want to go, we'll get you tickets because it's just a playtime with friends.
Oh,
like,
I am 100%
we don't know what
in.
happens. But yeah, we've been selling out at UCB and like a lot of hype on that, which is pretty fun. And yeah, we do a lot of make-em-ups. No scripts involved. You just go.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
Congratulations on everything, and thank you for being a real delight in this industry.
Thank
We
you
need
for
more
coming.
Positivity and good attitudes, and just someone who wants to spread good like you do.
Thank you for having me on your platform. Congratulations on the success. And also, thanks for being good humans yourself. I feel like I've known you forever. I'm like, that's right. We're doing interviews. I forgot about this.
That's
so
what the
lovely.
Witching Hour does. Haleigh, where can everyone find you on the internet?
You can find me at Haleigh Fouch on Twitter and at Haystack McGroovy on Instagram.
And I'm at P. Nemiroff on Twitter and Instagram. That's it, guys. You have officially survived the Witching Hour.